Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afridamus Report. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. I want to welcome all of you here. I'm your host, Afridamus. St. James, welcome in the house. All the people that, even if I don't mention your name, know that you're welcome here. Today's topic, this topic is inspired from a long line of what I've been observing. As you guys know, I talk about how I am an American. But when I say I'm an American, it doesn't necessarily mean, I was born in America whatsoever. You see, there are two ways to become an American in the United States of America, according to the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. One thing we all people that are law abiding, people that want what is righteous, wherever you go, you have to abide and live by the law of the land. And different countries have different laws, but the United States of America is one place that champion themselves in freedom. And you're going to see freedom if that's what you're seeking. Their laws and constitution allows you to come in. If you're born here, even if you're here for one day, you are an American citizen, according to the 14th Amendment. If you naturalize, you're considered an American citizen. So it's all fine and dandy. Everything is good, life is good. So people come from all over the world because they said, give us your sick, give us your destitute, we would help them. Oh, they can come here and display their talents and become whatever they want. But now, Africans come in here, Russians, whoever, different people come here. Africans are no exception to that. So when you come to the United States, you are going to find all different kinds of people. Different people. You will see Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Samoans, some people, some groups you don't even know. And all these people would tell you, I am an American. People that live in America, you're not going to look at somebody and say, oh, no, you're not American. Yeah, you understand the person, maybe their, original country was Mexico or wherever, but you know what they mean. When you go and fill out forms in America, if you're an American, you live in America, you know what the forms, when it comes to the race part, is going to ask you black, African or African American. You're going to see this. But if you are someone like me, if you're born in an African country and naturalized, become an American, it makes sense to call me an African American, right? So if you're in America, you are not the one that decides, what that form, what you are called. They give you options. But imagine if the US government wants everybody, they want to put on the form people to identify with their original country where they were born or where they come from, I mean, that list would be super duper long. So, in some certain aspects, it makes sense for the United States to broaden, just instead of making it that wide, they just narrow it down to what it is. And if you live here, you socialize here, you understand that. But most people who are not in America, or you have some who have racial hatred, racial animosity, they want to muddy the water. If they have identity crisis, they want to be confused about it. They bring confusion. But this confusion, you don't tend to run into it in real life out there, but online. Because you see, online, people feel safe, secure, because they are behind their keyboard, they're behind the computer. They get to say what they are thinking, what they are feeling. As of late, we've had, these conversations come to the forefront. We have even groups such as they call themselves ADOS FBA. Their biggest stake is to accuse Africans and Caribbeans, like any black groups that immigrated to this country, those are their targets. Those are the people they have the balls to talk about. So it makes sense if they say this, somebody like me, you that is watching me, if you live in America, but you're not, you immigrated here just like me, it makes sense for you to come and counter, the things that they are saying, the things that are lies, the things that are not true. It makes sense for you to counter them, right? But what if people who are not in America, they are not Americans, they've never lived in America, but they simply they represent themselves to speak on American issues. Not only that, they speak on the racial differences, they speak on Africans, because simply maybe their parents immigrated to the UK, Canada, other different African countries, and they want to speak on behalf. They set up platforms. They are repeating the same things that are not true. These things are against Africans or Caribbeans that are in this country. And some of them even add on their feelings. They want to have these conversations. These are sensitive subjects, by the way. Okay? I don't know what makes them think they want to be the ones talking about this. But you want to talk about a group of people, but you don't want to talk to those people. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to drop few people, and you guys are going to agree with me that you've seen this. Okay? You know what they call the enemy within, because you can't be destroyed by an outside enemy. It has to be within. People have to disguise to be like you and enter your house and start, undermining what you have going on. So I see them, they take shots at Africans. Maybe, they're from Africa, and I know there are many Africans, who have low self-esteem when it comes to other Africans. So they are going to project that. And I tend to see that quite a bit. So when you're projecting that, you're thinking that other Africans are thinking that way, you're completely wrong. We've got people speaking from countries like UK, Canada. These are countries that, they are pretty much socialist countries. From what I've heard, even from the people themselves, meaning the government is giving you handouts. But what about us here in America? America promotes hard work. They want you to become a taxpayer. I don't know how true it is, but I'm pretty sure there are people in those countries that work. But I'm just telling you what I've heard. So it would make sense for people in America who want government handouts for them to be able to relate to those people. But what if they are relating to those people and promoting things that are completely false, but they are basing it on their feelings? How do you empathize with someone who base things on their feelings? What if their feelings are wrong? Because if you've been watching me, I've always said feelings are not real. Feelings are a you problem, not everyone's problem. You see? Feelings are you problem, not everyone's problem. We've had discussions. St. James, don't worry, the names will come. The names will come. Or GT, don't worry. I've seen many few platforms who spew things that I've come here and corrected those people. A lot of these people that represent themselves as people that know about America, knowing the dynamics, and accusing other black immigrants as people that are here to steal what was set aside for them. How can you steal something if you're working for yourself, if you're working just like everyone else, if you're not here to receive a handout? That's projection, because you have a certain low expectation of yourself. You think just because you're begging the government, everybody that looks like you is doing the same thing. But you see, a black person born and raised in America in certain areas, you can understand they've been socialized to believe that. They've been brainwashed to believe these things. So you would think, okay, fine, I'm going to debate these people, I'm going to challenge their points. But what if you have people that come and align themselves, pretending that they are one of you, and they are repeating the same thing? They have channels, okay? You have to look at who they are inviting on those channels. You might as well call those channels bashing Africans channel, because when you're spewing these lies on Africans that live in America, but when somebody comes and speaks opposite of that, they tend to drop you off. They tend to step in. Why even bring up these conversations? Like, why? I'm about to play a video here, and I know some of you are gonna be like, nah, man, Afridamus, it ain't that serious. Hey, people's opinions, it's not that serious to me. But when it's silly and ridiculous, it doesn't matter who says it. It has to be called out. Every type of ignorance has to be called out, because these type of things that these people spew, their obsession with race relations, their obsession with people's origin, it has to be challenged. How can you speak on a group of people but not speak to them? You want to be the American expert as an African, but you don't live here. You don't live here. You're not an American taxpayer. What qualifies you to speak on American issues, much more representing yourself as an African? So when you blanket it, that includes me too. You don't have to name me directly, but when you say people from Africa, I am from Africa. I'm about to play a video here. I will analyze the video. But before we get to that, let me play the Pan-Africanist church music, because today I don't want to be here too long, but hopefully this would be a learning lesson for everyone. See, the reason why I came on YouTube or social media, because I've been seeing a lot of things a lot of topics, a lot of lies spread about especially Africans. There are many who live here. They don't have the time to do what I'm doing. So I'm representing the voiceless voices on these platforms. It is one thing to deal with people who are descendants of slaves, but it's another thing to deal with blacks, Africans who are from, they don't even live here, but they are from Africa. When they are doing things and saying these things, creating the platforms for these things to be said against Africans, and Africans are not allowed to challenge these points. Now, that is propaganda. That's dangerous. So, this is why we're going to have this conversation today. And whoever is doing this, hopefully they would learn and understand there's a new day, because I've been taking the time to observe, who is doing what. But I see that, this is not a game. They think it's a game. They think it's entertaining. Whatever comes of it, they don't live in this country. They don't have to deal with that. We have to deal with that, not them. So when they are speaking on us, we need to correct them. It doesn't matter how they feel. I could care less about their feelings, because their feelings is evil. Let me take you to church, and then we'll come and analyze this video. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to analyze this video that Empowering ADOS made, right? And she titled it, An Honest Ghanaian. Honest Ghanaian drags Africans. And let's find out what she is saying that they consider to be honest. And should she be the one saying this? And if this is any of her business, let's find out what this honest Ghanaian says, and if this person is even a taxpayer in the United States of America.
From here, but you're not actually from here. Just because you were born in America doesn't mean you're American. I've heard some really ignorant, I'm sorry if this offends some Africans, because they probably will, but I've heard some ignorant Africans come on here and be like, oh, well, I'm American now. I have my green card, so I'm American. And I'm just like, do you know the image I think about when I think about America? I don't think about you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's African Millennial. She made this video confidently speaking, referring to American citizens. Mind you, the American Constitution says if you are born in America or naturalized, you're an American. But do you guys notice she makes this type of videos, right? About race stuff, different things. She never has the audacity to call black people, the blacks that she talks about, she never calls them ignorant. She opens her platform to them. She steps in for them. But now, let's say people like us who have the, you can have your kids. She is saying, despite what the US government says, oh, you are not an American, because that's how she feels. Oh, because when I think of American, I don't see you. Lady, that's because you don't live in America. You are not an American. What makes you think these people that are saying this are ignorant? I think I see a lot of pandering, and we should be calling these things out. This is ridiculous. We have people who are Africans in another country hating on Africans that are born here, that the US Constitution says they're Americans. Or naturalized people saying they are not Americans. Who the hell do you think you are to be even able to open your mouth and say these things? This is disrespectful. This is the most disrespectful thing you can hear from anyone. Imagine if, let's say someone saying empowering haters is a hater. No, she's not the hater. African millennial here is the hater. She's the hater. So you live in Canada. What, Canada doesn't have enough actions? But you have to speak on America. You have to speak on people. You are trying to deny these people their citizens' right that the government itself, the Constitution, says these people are Americans. But because in your mind, you said you have a certain image of your head, in your head, now all of a sudden, these people are not Americans. GT, Canada is not America. They don't have the same rules. They don't, it's not the same country. Let's not play that game. I've been to Canada several times. I know people there. They are not. It's not the same thing. But this is my point. If you're born in America, you are an American. We can play that game and say, oh man, if I don't see the person with feathers, then they are not American. So you guys see, this is what I'm talking about. You are in America, you're paying taxes, you give birth to children, you're naturalized. You have African who don't even live in America. Just because you have a YouTube channel, you think you have the free right to speak on Africans that live in America. This is crazy. This is what I've been observing, and I'm sick of it. If you don't know about American issues, you need to shut the hell up. If you want to speak on American things, you better go do your research. You better go learn about what the Constitution says. Because when you open your mouth and speaking, you sound really dumb. And these things that you say have repercussions. Like, how dare you, sitting in another country, spewing such nonsense, but you're referring to the people who are telling you, oh no, I'm an American, I was born here, or maybe I'm naturalized, but they're the ignorant one. Their passport says they're American. They didn't say they are white. They didn't say anything. They're telling you their nationality. Two different things. How are you going to force somebody who isn't born in Africa saying that they are African, but they weren't born there? It's ridiculous. But let's hear more of her nonsense.
I don't think about you from Senegal when I think of America. So you're there talking about you're American. You're from Senegal. Your last name is a Senegalese name, but you're here talking about, oh yeah, I'm American. Why? Because you got your green card, so now you're all of a sudden.
Barack's last name is Obama, a Kenyan last name. Oh, but I guess he's light skinned, right? So now last names is what makes someone an American or not. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. This is why, like I've just been observing, and these people, they've become the agent of chaos because they speak on America. They don't live in America. They speak, about these contentious situations, and they bring this dumb, quote unquote, ADOS people who represent them, some of them disguised as Pan-Africanists on their panels. But let me or somebody come there and challenge this because their feelings are, oh no, we don't want to upset the blacks. So this sounds more like pandering. I mean, who else, people that are watching me, Africans that live here, who else did you hear spewing such garbage? Who else? White people are not saying this to you, but you're seeing these ADOS people spew the same garbage, and you guys would write and say they are hateful. Why don't you find her to be hateful for saying such things? What, Canada doesn't have enough action to talk about? Canada don't have enough Africans to talk about? Like what's going on? So this is stupid.
An American? This is weird. This is very strange. And some of you people now have children that act like this. It's disgusting. So I find it funny how a lot of
African millennial, you sticking your mouth into American problems and calling people, trying to take away people's birthright in a country, that's what's disgusting. Seriously. So if you truly believe that wherever people are born, they are stuck there, they shouldn't move, why are you in Canada? You're born in Ghana. Pack your bags and go back to Ghana. Plain and simple. Just because Ghana's laws is not the same as America, that doesn't mean that, these things are not happening here in America. But hey, Lord, God forbid, before spewing such garbage, for you to, type on that computer and find out what America's constitution is. What's the criteria? How do American government officials, who do they consider to be an American? Maybe that would have prevented you from spewing such hatred. This is ridiculous. So you're saying, okay, so for example, my child is not an American. Because that's her idea. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Africans in the UK especially will be like, oh yeah, I'm British. And they'll like hold on to that identity when it's like, your parents came from the Congo. You're not British. The identity crisis that
you said the parents came from the Congo, but they were born and raised in Britain. And the British law says they are British. So who the hell are you to say they are not? We need to be realistic here. See, this is the thing. This is why most people don't respect Africans as a group, because most Africans tend to have no problem, showing their ignorance in public. This has been said on the World Wide Web. World Wide Web. You're sitting there having no problem, thinking you're high and mighty, thinking you're smart, but you're spewing lots and lots of garbage. So if your parents are from somewhere and you're born elsewhere and raised there, the law says that's where you're from. But you shouldn't be from there. You have to be from this place. I mean, even if you go to Africa, African countries, people, some like their village, their parents might be from some village and they are born in the city or somewhere. they're born and raised there. If you ask them, they're gonna tell you, if I'm from this city. You have no problem with that. Oh no, but because America, the West is great, so you don't want these people to be able to claim that. Who needs the KKK when you have somebody like her? Imagine what she is saying. A white person says this. Even if a black American comes, says this, most of you Africans would say they are haters. I've already seen it. It's happened. What do you think the ADOS people are saying? Who needs them when you've got people like her and she doesn't even live in this country? She's not even a taxpayer in this country. Let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm not trying to beat on her whatsoever, but I've been seeing a pattern. And this is not only her. I see Mr. Uganda too. He's another one, who comes and tries to talk about American topics, about race stuff. Yeah, he would bring in, these black dudes in America who would speak on African immigrants. But let you come there and try to counter that. He will start acting all emotional and acting like it's drama. Like, dude, you don't live in America. You're all the way across the pond in the UK. What the hell are you doing talking about American issues? What are you doing talking about this? You guys think you can just come and spew whatever about people and people are not going to respond to these things? You got to be kidding me. You can't be doing this kind of stuff. And from now on, I'm not gonna let up. Anytime, because these people, they talk about race, they're obsessed with these weird things. And they don't do their research or due diligence to find out. All these talking points they are repeating. We've heard this before. We've heard this from extremist haters. We've already tackled this. But now we have to deal with this from people that pretend to be like one of us and they don't even live in this country and we're supposed to just let it fly. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'm thankful she's not the one who gets to decide who is American or who isn't. I bet. Okay, so if you think of American, you're not gonna see an Asian person and say they're American, right? I guess there's no Asians that are American. Get over yourselves, people.
I think a lot of Africans abroad face this identity crisis, and it's really disappointing because I've noticed that, especially with the younger generation, the elder generation do this too, but the younger generation, who are actually adults now, by the way, they also hold on to this identity crisis. When I think of an English person.
Oh, so your nationality, right? So these people, they suffer from identity crisis. But you who don't know these people from Adam, I bet you if a Russian, second generation Russian comes and tells you they're American, you would respect that, right? Because their skin is pale, they're white. And this is why people, I keep telling, even with the Pan-Africanist stuff, I keep telling you guys, I'm not with this, because you have so many dumb people that come, they pretend to be a part of you, like they're speaking your language whatsoever. And when you buy into it, they're going to try to, try to pretend that they're speaking on your behalf. This is why you see they talk about who's the real African, who isn't. Look, I hate to tell you, people are not looking to go force themselves to be Africans. It's just this stupid Pan-Africanists, some of them, those are the ones doing it. Other people are not looking to do this. So when somebody says they are original in Africa, you better believe it, because of all the places they could claim, why would they claim Africa? So you guys need to drop these things, because you're going to constantly, you will get pushbacks. you will get pushbacks. You best believe. So you're saying, oh, so people like me, for instance, who says I'm American, which I am. So I suffer from identity crisis. So I don't know who I am. I mean, these people speak as if, oh, all Africans, they're all the same. The way I think, that's how all Africans think. Well, ma'am, I didn't come here in a group. My thought process and somebody else's thought process is not the same. People earn their American citizenship. Okay? So when you come and speak like this, you're being disrespectful, you're being ignorant. Plain and simple. It's like FB and I totally agree with you. I think it's a sort of jealousy. Seriously. Like, why would I come here and say I am an American if I'm not? Then that would be an identity crisis. Okay? You're not going to see somebody who just came to America yesterday, who don't even have papers to work here, calling themselves that. Oh, this guy said, don't be ashamed of being Gambian. Why would I be ashamed of being a Gambian? You're silly. But let's hear more of her reasoning on why somebody that is born in America is not an American. Let's hear more of it. Because I bet you, like I said, if somebody from the UK or Sweden, their parents move here, they are born here, if they look at her and say, oh, I'm American, she's not going to question it. This is what I'm saying, people. It is Africans that beat down on Africans more than anybody. This is why I don't do the group thing. You guys go and beat down on each other. I am an individual. I make my own decisions. Don't group me into these dumb things. I would continue to analyze videos you make, because these people want to have these conversations about certain people, but those people, you're not talking to those people. You would talk to other people who are spewing lies about them. Maybe that's what you want to do, because at this point, that's what it looks like. Because if you look at it, people that are into this propaganda against Africans, just look at what channels they go to. Just pay attention. Don't let me tell you. Just look around. They either go to African Millennial or Mr. Uganda's channel. So, like, I've just, in the beginning, like, I saw these channels. I was like, okay, let me hear what these people got to say. And sometimes they'll talk about xenophobia. Hey, if you guys were Americans, I would say you guys are xenophobic. You guys are trying to spread lies on people. Trying to take away people's citizenship. Talking about how you feel. It sounds like a personal problem. But now when you put it on the internet, it's no longer that, because it would be countered. Imagine for, empowering ADOS to call this video an honest video. Imagine that. Just think. Because she's, why would she need to talk when African Millennial is doing the talking for her? And this is what these people have been doing. They set up these platforms, they bring in people that tell lies about Africans in the United States, spewing bunch of lies. They don't counter it. You're not there to counter it, but hey, Africans are like, oh no, let's not go against it because they are Africans. No, they are your enemy. I don't think you understand this. It might look, innocent whatsoever, but when somebody set up a platform and you cannot even come there and speak honestly, without them interrupting it, now they've become your enemy. They've become enemy combatant, and you should be treating them as such. I don't think you guys understand how serious this is. If you live in the UK, talk about the UK. If you live in Canada, talk about Canada. What's the obsession with America? I don't get it. And if you want to talk about America, you better do your research. Don't just start speaking on things that you know nothing about, because you will get clapped on.
The image that comes to my mind is not an African. The image that comes to my mind is a Caucasian. So this identity that a lot of Africans in the West have, like this.
Did you guys hear what I said? She said it herself. So when she thinks American, she thinks a Caucasian. Are Caucasians the only group that live in America? So even, she excluded blacks too, right? A Caucasian. Well, ma'am, Caucasians are not the only Americans. See, if you lived in America, you would have known this. There's different kinds of Americans. They even have Eskimo Americans. That's how the country was set up. It is not Ghana. This is America, the land of the free.
Oh, I'm from here, but you just got your papers 5 years ago. Are you really from there? Or are you just living there? Are you just experiencing that country, or are you actually from that country? And I think it gets very confusing when you have certain Africans that are born outside of Africa, especially, because then they'll hold on to the identity of the place where they were born over the identity of the place where they actually have their lineage from. How can you know someone else's language, but the language of your forefathers, you don't know that language?
Oh, so now it's about language. Not that the language that matters to you, the language that is useful to you, you shouldn't be worrying about the language that you communicate with people with 24/7 in your environment. Okay, just because your grandfather spoke some type of language, now you have to speak that language, despite that language not gonna be of any use to you. What, you're gonna speak to 3-4 people? These people don't make any sense. What's the obsession about? Oh, let's speak this African language. Show me the African language that everybody's looking to speak is a business language. Everyone is looking to speak it. Languages are like tools. Okay? You speak the language that is useful to you. Plain and simple. But this obsession with, oh, you have to, it's like rigid. But they themselves don't live by those rules. They don't live by those rules, because if they do, they wouldn't be living in the countries they live in. I told you guys the last time, I'm like Abraham of Chaldea, who dwelt in Egypt. Man have been moving around for ages. Even the Caucasian that she's saying, oh, when I think of American, it's Caucasian. Oh, does she think the Caucasians are the original people of America? Is that what she thinks? The Caucasians are not the original people of America. There were people here prior to the Caucasians coming here. So what you're saying doesn't make any sense. How is somebody coming from Africa to America any different than a Caucasian sailing in their ship from Europe to America? What's the difference? But no, the African has to be limited. I bet you this conversation, we wouldn't be having it. She wouldn't be talking about the Africans that, or probably a Senegalese live in Senegal and going over to Nigeria and claiming to be Nigerian. She'll be like, oh yeah, that's okay. Because, She's not jealous of people in Nigeria. But America is the different ball game. I have to rip their citizenship away from them. When they say they're American, it burns my heart. But hey, it is what it is. Okay? Your feelings don't matter here. The truth, you see, this is what I like about truth. The truth would always kick you up across the head. People, I don't want you to confuse this. I'm not trying to beat on African millennial, but I want them to sit and look in the mirror and see that we see what you're doing. We see what you're doing. I'm not the only one that see this, by the way. I've had people contact me. They even send me these videos, even of Mr. Uganda. I said, don't worry, I've seen it. I've been on his platform before where he set up these conversations, you know, and he brings in people. We live in the same environment, you know, with these people in America. Same environment, but you don't live here. Okay? You do not live in America. But you brought people who are saying things about, oh, the Africans that live here. But when we come, we want to have conversation with these people. Now they start losing it, you know. You escalate it and drop us off and try to make it seem like, oh, it is a beef. No, it's not a beef. It is not a beef. Those people know what conversation we are having. But because you are too ignorant of America, you don't know what the hell is going on. But you think, oh, I'm being cool. You know, I'm being cool. Oh, I'm gonna just, you know, take a dump on the Africans. Hey, maybe you're taking dump on the Africans in the UK, but America is a different ball game, guys. You need to know this. You know, just the same way you're treading on the line, being afraid to speak on this ADOS people, from now on, Africans, I would make sure you guys would think twice before you spew your nonsense on Africans. And when you make your platforms available for people to come and speak nonsense on Africans, you're going to get hit once again, back to back. No mercy for, you know, for people who have no mercy for the others. When you speak the truth, fine, that's cool. But when you come out here providing platforms or saying things, pandering to other people, and you calling it truth. But the same people turn around and say empowering ADOS is hateful. I mean, shoot, she doesn't even say what she is saying here. Okay? The things that she is saying, I mean, if we go by African millennials analogy, her feelings, then Barack Obama is not an American. Because his father is Kenyan. He should have been speaking that Kenyan language, not English. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. What? Oh, he's going to be speaking the Kenyan language in America? Who is he going to be speaking that with? Why would I use a language to limit myself when there's another one that would allow me to do business, to meet a whole lot of people? It's a whole bunch of people that speak this language. I bet you her herself, why is she speaking in English? She can speak in her Ghanaian language. She doesn't have to speak English. I've even heard other Africans, they're like, oh, the dumb ones, they're like, oh, we have to unite. And you know what? Africans should speak Swahili. Why would I want to speak Swahili? Oh, English is a foreign language. Oh, you think people in Gambia, you telling them to speak Swahili, that is not foreign to them? Oh, but you guys want to be like the white people, to colonize people, but you you want to trick people into it. These are the dumb things that you hear, man. But let's hear more of this. And I hope that African millennial takes this as a learning lesson. Because some of the things that she spew, these are things that she heard from the Wakandan channel. Oh, she would hear this from some of the hateful black channels. And then she comes, she's like, oh, let me see. I can say stuff to the blacks, but let me speak it to Africans, about Africans. Because Africans, what's the chances of them clapping back at me? Well, it's a new day. We've had enough of this. If you don't live in America, you're not an American. You need to shut the hell up. You don't need to be talking about American issues. You let us take care of our own problems in America. You don't see me talk about UK or Canada. Canada is close by. I can literally hop in my car. In 2 hours, I would be in Canada. I've been there many times. There was nothing that interests me enough for me to be talking about no damn Canada. I get it. America is where the action is. If you want to look for the action, do your research. You would find plenty of things to talk about. But, you want to tell us, oh no, this is what you should be calling yourself. Oh no, you're tied in one place. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. People, I don't want you to go by these rules. I'm telling you. Because you see, I made sure, like, some of these things, I've shown the video to even my son, who's an American, by the way. He's like, who are these dumb people? I said, exactly. Exactly. So if you're in Canada, UK, you don't feel like you're a citizen of those countries, it sounds like a personal problem. But over here, we are proud Americans, and that's what we live by. It doesn't mean that, we all of a sudden gonna say, oh, like I'm gonna say, I am not a Gambian. Have you ever heard of dual citizenship? Have you ever heard of that? You do realize that's a thing, right? So if I say, oh, I'm American, that doesn't, like some dude over here saying, oh, you don't be ashamed of being a Gambian. You hear me talk about Gambia all the time. All the time. The country where you were born and the country that you chose is two different things, because you consciously made the decision to pick this one. So that's why I tell you guys, I am a born again American. But who are you to come and say you are not American when the US Constitution says I am? But now you're not even limiting it to me. Now you're going for our kids, trying to make our kids foreigners in their own country. People, think about this for a minute. Imagine you are a second generation, you're born in America, and you hear somebody like her saying that, oh, you are not American. Okay, if I'm not American, what am I? You tell me, what am I? Oh, you're Ghanaian, but I wasn't born in Ghana. I'm pretty sure, if those kids go to those countries, they can be president. Somebody's going to remind them and say, you weren't born here. But in America, they can be president. So that tells you they are American. Okay?
I'm so sorry. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you were born in the US. You know perfect English. You can speak it 100%. But if your grandmother were to speak to you in her mother tongue, you wouldn't be able to speak to her back. That's a disgrace. And people
No, that's not a disgrace. What is it? The disgrace is the grandma not learning to speak English. Why would somebody that is born and raised in America, why would it be a disgrace for them not to be able to speak, language, in Africa? Why is that a disgrace? This is stupid. Like if they, like, yeah, it's cool if they can speak the language, but if you're living in America, that language is of no use to you, literally. So like, how is that a disgrace? This is stupid.
People are bragging about this. You literally lost your culture in 1 or 2 generations and you're bragging about that? Wow.
Culture is man-made. You know what? I'm not trying to beat down on, this quote unquote, this huge African culture some of these people want to brag about. You know what? Name me all these great African cultures you're talking about, the world cannot live without. Name them. I'm waiting. Name them. I bet, this internet that she's using, all that language, that's all her African culture, right? Is what brought it to her. That great Ghanaian culture brought her the language she's speaking, the internet that she's on spewing this. That culture brought it, right? I don't know if she realized culture is man-made. People sometimes they just make up things that they think works for them. You're supposed to create your own culture at some point, because some of these cultures are pretty stupid. You do realize that, right? Some of them are stupid. So when you're born, you're your own individual. You should be able to assess some things and see them as being stupid. Okay? As being stupid. This is ridiculous.
That's weird. That's, to me, this is a problem. This is a serious issue, actually, if you think about it. Like when you take someone else's identity and you try to like attach it to you, that's where I kind of think you're a little bit delusional.
So she is saying that a person born in America who's living as an American, they are stealing someone's identity. Whose identity are they stealing? Oh, but white people, well, they're not, you do realize, like, white people is America's most, Western culture is what is dominant in America. Western culture. So, now in these African countries, you go there, the Western culture is, is gaining grounds there. That English that you're speaking is from the Western culture. So somebody born and raised in America, they don't have to be born in Africa for them to go there and be able to blend in and communicate with the people. That's not that big of a deal. Imagine if all of us just, we're going to speak our tribal language. That's what we know. Africa would have remained in the 18th century, okay? Or the 16th century. Because if you only speak your tribal language, how many people speak that? How many people speak that language? If that's so important to you, hey, maybe Canada is the wrong place. You might want to hit that village in Ghana. I think they practice that over there. This is stupid.
Let me give you guys an example. If someone from Poland, right, someone who's Polish, right, goes to Ghana and they get a citizenship, are they then all of a sudden Ghanaian?
Yes, they are Ghanaian if they are a citizen of Ghana. Okay?
Because they have a Ghanaian citizenship? So
yes, they are Ghanaian.
Now all of a sudden they're Ghanaian. So now anything happens, they could claim claim ties to Ghana, but they're from Poland. Their lineage is.
You guys see her thought process? You do realize, like, this is like most Africans like her, they cannot process the idea of citizenship. This is why you see people are so huggy over their countries. Like, oh, you can't be a citizen here. Like for me, you guys have heard me talk about even Black Seed about the citizenship stuff in Gambia. I'm not saying she shouldn't be a citizen there, but it's the way she went about it. But it is advantageous to bring in different talents. Okay? But I highly doubt, Polish people are looking to go be citizens in Ghana. So she shouldn't worry about that. But this is crazy. The way the world operates now, people become citizens of places based on interest. Based on interest. Did you see me go try to be a citizen in Papua New Guinea or Equatorial Guinea? Why would I do that? What's in it for me? People do citizenship, whether you like it or not, is all based in interest. If you're smart, you would go to places that have better systems, better laws, and better economy. Okay? This is why people want to come to America. Number one target, America. But you think people are just coming to America because they're like, oh, I just want to move there so I can call myself an American. Why are you in Canada? Why don't you tell us? But now she wants to play dumb, right? So a Polish guy goes to Ghana and they naturalize and become have citizenship there. But still she's saying, oh, that person is not Ghanaian. This is how most Africans tend to think. The concept of only if it favors them, then they can understand what the laws are. But if it's the other way around, they tend not to respect the law. Why would countries have laws if people like her don't understand the concept of how the law works? Why give the person the citizenship if you're not going to call them a Ghanaian? Like, why even do that? This is childish.
From Poland. Their ancestors come from that area. And all of a sudden they're in Ghana and they're saying, oh yeah, they forget their language and they speak Tree. Like, are they actually Ghanaian? So why is it the opposite happens when Africans come to the West and now they're automatically American, they're Canadian, they're English, they're Italian?
Ma'am, that's what the passport says. Okay? If I go to some hostile country, places like maybe Equatorial Guinea, you think something happens, I would go, I'm reporting to the American embassy. You think they're going to be like, oh no, you are not an American? That is only in your delusion. You think they're going to be like, nah, you're not American? They're not going to say that. Yes, the people that are citizens of that country, they are not being delusional. Okay? Hey, if you think it's just delusion, why don't you show up in America with your Ghanaian passport, with your visa just to America, and think and say, just claim, oh, I'm American, and see if that would be honored, if you would be able to apply for a job. This is pretty stupid.
It's like you're everything but African. I find that to be very, very strange and very weird. Like when you as an immigrant take someone else's culture and then you say it's yours, what are you saying about your own culture is the question I have for some of those people. It's just a question.
So she now thinks that, oh, if you come to America, you naturalize. Now, all of a sudden, so people, you can just sit and you know and wipe out the culture you grew up with completely out of your head. You think that's how life works? This is crazy. I hope African millennial would watch this and learn and see, because sometimes you say a lot of dumb stuff, you don't realize how stupid it is until somebody breaks it down. You're sitting there watching it, you're like, wow, oh, I did sound stupid there. So you think me here saying being an American, so now all of a sudden I have forgot my culture I grew up with, the languages I know, the foods I eat. Do you think that's how it works? You do realize in America, like we have Gambian stores, we make Gambian food, other there's Chinese places. I mean, you're in Canada. You should be smarter than this. What are you talking about? It's just human nature. People are not all of a sudden gonna wipe out their culture. But she's assuming people don't have pride in who they are. Maybe she doesn't have pride in herself. So she translates it as, oh, they don't. Look, my son, he's American. He's never been to Gambia. But guess what? He loves Gambian foods, Gambian dishes. You know, he's interacted, socialized with tons and tons of Gambians in America. So you don't think he knows? This is silly.
Because you could lie, you could, especially some Africans, they like to shorten their names. You know, they have the full native name. Maybe their African name is like 10 letters, but they'll shorten it so that people could pronounce it better. What are you then saying about your name?
So if your name is Olumide Olundare Egule, do you know how hard it is to say this? So don't you think Olumide Olundare Egule, it makes sense for him to tell people that his name is Olu? So this woman just wants to attack people for doing what makes sense. You think if this Mr. Olu is writing his name down, he's not going to write his full name? What is wrong with, shortening your name to make it easy? Like you want the guy to spend, you're spending 5 minutes just to finish pronouncing someone's name. Olumide Olundare Egule, you just keep going on and on. Some of these names, I've met some of these people, their name, it takes you like 5 minutes to finish writing it down. So what is wrong with shortening that down? I thought this African millennial was smarter than this, but this video is, she needs to learn. She needs a lot of learning to do.
That is not good enough against someone else's name. It's like, I don't know. I seriously think some people are having an identity crisis, especially Africans abroad, because I keep saying this. I don't think you having citizenship to a country actually means you're from there. I know that maybe some people don't resonate with that, but I don't think that you're just simply having a citizenship to a country means that you're actually significant to that country. I guess the point that I'm trying to say is, you're here because you're mostly here because of an economic tax slave type of situation. That's kind of why.
Oh, now people are slaves. Now people are slaves. Let's hear more of her bullshit. So people are now slaves. Why isn't African millennial making videos about other Africans that are going into other African countries? Because she doesn't want to go to those countries. But you see, America is the big boy on the block. Everyone seems to want to come to America. Hey, if I can go to America, why, be an American citizen, why don't I hate on the people that are? That's what this sounds like. Let's hear more.
Why you're here. That's kind of why we're here. And it works for some of us because that's what we want. We want the money, we want the opportunities, we want the jobs. But
What does she mean by we? Ma'am, you are not an American. You are in Canada. There's a difference. Yes, somebody's going to say it's next door, but I can assure you they have the Queen of England on their money. It's not the same place. They have the maple leaf in their flag. Okay? And they speak with a weird accent. They said, okay? It's not the same place. Trust me, I've been there.
in doing that, does that actually mean that you are from that country? Because I find it weird when some Africans come here and they'll say that they're the exact same as the native person that was born here. And it's like, no, you're not.
Which Africans do you know that came from Africa going around talking about, oh, I'm the same as the native people? Please bring those Africans on your channel and let's hear them out. I say I'm an American, but I never say I'm like anybody else. I am my own person. Just like John down 2 doors down. The white person, he's his own person. I'm not trying to be him. He's not trying to be me. Why do you have to be like somebody else? That's not what people are trying to do. You talked about economics, but you see, again, why every time they talk about African or blacks, they have to attach slavery to it. They somehow, who needs the white people to enslave black people when we got people like them? So now every black person is a slave. Yeah, forget, oh, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans, the Russians. Oh yeah, those people, it's totally okay for them to come to America. They can't even speak English. They have stores. But you, the African, oh, no. Now you being there, that means you're a slave. Hey, if the way I live, this is what slavery is, please continue counting me in.
No, you're not. You came from Congo. You came from Senegal. You came from Ghana. You came from Nigeria. You're not the exact same as somebody who was actually born here, whose parents have been here for hundreds and hundreds of years. Your grandparents are back home. Your parents are probably back home. Your wife is probably back home. So how is that the same as somebody who's
But if somebody that's born here, so you're speaking of super grown people who come here, they have wives back in their homeland. Okay? If those people tend to be the people who are the least people that would claim, even if they have their American citizenship, they don't tend to even claim it. What are you talking about? She's not making any sense. Those people tend to go back and forth. So now she moves from hating on people who are born here. So if you're born in America, obviously, unless you have an imaginary wife over there in Timbuktu, but I don't see how that's gonna happen. If you came here when you were younger, you probably don't have a wife. So what is she talking about?
actually been born here. A lot of African immigrants get so offended when people call them immigrants. What's so wrong about just saying
St. James, I think I agree with you.
that you're an immigrant? Like, what's so offensive about that? Are you not an immigrant? Like, since why do you guys have such a negative connotation with that word? Oh no, I'm not an
But my thing is, why you notice this conversation is not about the immigrant, the Africans that live in the country where she is. Okay, she has to attack the Africans that are in America, the USA. Have you guys noticed that? Just like Mr. Uganda, he doesn't talk about the UK. They talk about Africans in America. For some reason. Hey, you guys want to be part of American drama? Guess what? We would give you American drama. Since you're afraid of the blacks, you don't think we can do the same thing? You don't want to be checked by the blacks, but we're here to check you. That's what this channel is about. Because I was sick and tired of from CNN talking smack about Africans from back in the days. I've been challenging this since in school. Even when I was in the 13th and 14th grade, I used to challenge teachers when they spew their nonsense about Africa. Or try to put all Africans in the same group. Like how you're going to show a video of the Himbaland and then talking about, oh, are you from there? Ma'am, we just watched the video together. Do I look like I'm from there? So this is ridiculous. So I've been dealing with, like, this is nothing new, but it's just strange. It's just strange for someone who, by the way, is an African, talking smack about Africans in America when she's not an American. She doesn't live in America. You don't pay taxes in America. What gives you the right to speak on us? We are not Canadians. We don't live in Canada. Talk about your people. Don't talk about us.
Immigrant, I have a passport, I did this, I did that, I live here, I can speak the language. What's wrong with saying that you're an immigrant? You're a foreigner. What's wrong with saying that? Like, why do people get so offended by that?
Why are you obsessed with trying to get people who are a citizen of a country to tell you that they are immigrants? They are foreigners. Why are you obsessed with that? And I know this, man, these people, they are obsessed with a whole lot of things too. Race. They talk about this, who is really African, who isn't. And like I said it yesterday on Quasi's channel, I said, you guys touch on subjects that you don't have knowledge about. You better do your research. Because I notice they base things on skin color. On skin color. And to be honest, this is weird. Like, because Africans that I know, especially in America, Africans from different countries don't seem to care about, race stuff, skin color. But these people are a whole different ball game. I was like, what is going on? What's with the race stuff? And these people don't even live in America. I mean, shoot, sometimes I'm thinking like, man, are we back in 1865? Is this the Grand Wizard of the KKK? Because I'm like, man, how do I hear race from people who don't live in America and supposed to be Africans more than living in America as physically? I go by my day. The last thing, honestly, that I hear or deal with is race stuff. People aren't sitting there talking about this stuff. I mean, I see a person, they are white. I just know, okay, white person, and I'm sure they know black person. Okay, life goes on. But to try to find out who is origin, or to say are not Africans real Africans, if you don't think they're real Africans, why don't you go remove them and send them back to where you think they belong? Until you have the power or willing to do that, you should shut the hell up. It's like agents of chaos. Seriously, agents of chaos. I mean, should we have enough, like confusing the blacks here in America too? I mean, come on, blacks have enough problem as it is. We're trying to get blacks here not to, to drop this racist talk, and you guys are constantly bringing it, setting up the panel. This is why you see those crybabies. It's like victims that go to those channels. You see, my channel is open to anyone, but people are not going to hit the link and come sit on the panel because you would be asked real questions. Real questions. I wonder where things went wrong, because generally Africans in America are not obsessed with race. Something isn't right. And if she want to say people have identity crisis, but if you are worried about how other people identify or see themselves, you're obsessed with it, you might be the one that have issues with your own identity. Hey, if you come to me and say, hey, I'm an Eskimo, I'll respect it. Even if you come to me and say you're a dinosaur, hey, that's what you want to be. Oh, but you're not going to see them make videos about a boy saying they're a girl. They would respect that. She better not talk about that. But you want to speak on Africans who legitimately, U.S. Constitution says if you're born here or naturalized, you are a citizen, you want to attack them. Because to them, Africans are easy target. Well, you're fooling yourself. As long as the Afridamus report is here and you guys continue to spew this or provide the platform, I would be analyzing these videos. I will be speaking on them. That soft glove is gone because you guys have no right or qualification to speak on American issues. Point blank, especially in the voice of Africans. This is literally, it seems like a paid ad. St. James, I would agree with you on this one. That's what it seems like. Let me go attack the Africans. As if Africans that live here would not hear this or have problem with it or wouldn't be able to respond back. You see, back in the days, I couldn't respond to CNN, but now we have YouTube. Now CNN, even they're getting out of the business of being the agents of chaos as far as Africans are gone. They're like, why do it when there's these Africans on the internet? We'll let them attack these Africans. And that's what's happening. We got Africans in Canada. Oh, we got some in the UK. Oh, yeah, we'll let them attack the ones in America. Well, you guys are certainly mistaken. We're not going to allow this to keep going on. If you make this type of videos, you would be clowned on. You provide the platform, you will be clowned on. I know that's what you guys are afraid of from the blacks, because you don't want them to clown you. But we would do it over here at the Afridamus Report, because you've declared yourself enemy combatants and you'll be treated as such.
Africans, when you call them immigrant, they get so offended. It's like, is my English not good enough? Like, what do you, why are you offended? You are an immigrant. You came from a different country. If you're a second generation immigrant, you're still an immigrant. Why do people not get that? They get so offended. It's like, but I was born here. And so you still.
African millennial, I'll give you the advice. It is rude and obnoxious of you to tell someone who was born in America, in a country, born and raised, for you to call them an immigrant. Do you know the difference between being born and migrating? Different. There's a difference there. So you need to stop being rude and obnoxious. I don't know who the hell you think you are for you to confidently sit there and speak on people, trying to tell them who they are when what you're saying doesn't make sense. This is stupid at best. How are you going to tell somebody they are not, calling them an immigrant in a place that they were born? And I bet you this same individual, if she hears a white person, for instance, says to a black person, African that was born in America, if they call them immigrants, she would, have issues with it, or pretend to have issues with it. But she would go and repeat the same thing. I don't know if she's trying to appease, these ADOS people, because, they are the ones calling Africans that are born here immigrants. They're even calling people who have been here, several generation immigrants. Because, quote unquote, they think they're going to get a check from the US government for slavery, But why would somebody immigrate to America to look for free checks? America is not the UK or Canada. America is a place where people want to take advantage of the opportunity. People, you got to work. Here in America, work is what is, promoted. Like the other day on Mr. Uganda's channel, somebody was there talking, oh yeah, these Africans, they come and take our Negro college fund scholarships. Okay, so he's like, things that was set aside for us by our forefathers. It's the biggest lie I've ever heard. Biggest lie. So an African is gonna come. They're like, Africans gonna be pretending. And Mr. Uganda said something that is totally ridiculous. It's stupid at best. He said, I'm sick and tired of, Africans that come to these countries and look down on the black natives there. Spewing propaganda, total lies. Total lies. If you know Africans where you are at that are doing that, why don't you make those videos? Why speak on a place you know nothing about? You're bringing people, they are lying on Africans. You think Africans are, as if this guy is speaking, there's like this black thing, like there's a benefit of saying I'm black in America. But since you guys are so caught up in trying to make Africans look bad, I don't know if you guys are jealous of Africans in America, but since you guys are so caught up in that, anything goes. As if there's such thing in America, black government and white government. It is the government. And if this is scholarship, you can easily do your research on that. This HBCUs you hear about, black school, black historical black college, who do you think is funding it? The United States government. You think it is black people coming together, putting their money and say, oh, let's put money together. Even their alumni, people that attended those colleges, they don't even give them anything. Anything. If they don't have enough money for those schools, the government is sponsoring it. How would they have money to give to somebody else? So you have people coming on your channel, they are kings of handouts. They are complaining that somebody is taking their handout, but most Africans are working. They work. They're not looking for free money. They work. In fact, me that's speaking here, do you know how much taxes I pay? So those handouts they're crying about, who do you think is paying for those? Those same Africans that you guys are shitting on. Because you work, you pay taxes to the US government. It is the US government that provides all these things. So how are you going to sit there and try to attack the people that are actually paying for these things? Because every single person that works, you got to pay for the taxes. So those people you bring into your channel, the free things they're talking about, saying, oh, these Africans taking it. No, the Africans are paying for you. They are paying for you. Because when the US government takes that money, if you're a freeloader, you're into this welfare stuff, yeah, they take our money and give it to you. This is not one of those socialist countries. This is not one of those. Most Africans I see have more than one job. So they are American taxpayers. They are not takers, they are givers. So when you guys allow people to come on your channels and provide the platform for them to spew lies, maybe the countries you guys are in, maybe you guys are receiving free handouts from the government. That's why you can relate to those people. But hey, most of us can't relate to that. Most of us are hardworking Americans. So if anything, we should be the ones saying, hey, pack these people and send them to Guantanamo Bay. If they can't pay their way, they need to go. But since you guys don't have enough sense, it make somebody to come there and say, oh, somebody's coming here, taking what they put aside for us. But you hear these same people constantly begging the US government. So if they had things set up for blacks and it's run by blacks, why are they crying to the US government? The US government gets its money from the taxpayers. So it cannot be, you have to stick with what is real. People work, they pay taxes. How are you going to accuse those same people saying they're taking from you when the things you are asking for, those are the people that are paying for it? Yes, you can get financial aid, FAFSA. That's available to anybody. That's from the US government, just so you know. The US government is who gives that. And guess where they get the money from? from working people, taxpayers like myself. So we're not taking, we are adding onto the economy. This beggary that these people are engaged in, yes, they are asking for people like us to pay for it, because the government is not getting the money from the sky. They are going to use taxpayer dollars to do it. So you guys are ridiculous.
Well, an immigrant, like, you're not native to here. Your grandparents did not come here and say that they discovered this land, right? So the great, 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 great grandchildren of those people are going to ask you, where do you come from? Because
Oh, so now, okay. So pretty much, so you black person, or even empowering ADOS, unless she's promoting her white side. But according to African millennials ideology, you yourself, you are not American, because she is saying that unless your great grandfathers came and discovered this land, and we all know who are the people that came, quote unquote, discovered this land. So that means blacks, even the blacks who great great grandparents were brought here as slaves, they are not American either, according to you, because those slaves, the one that discovered this land, it was Europeans. See, if you allow people to talk for long, they reveal how dumb they are. So, empowering ADOS, you should be offended by this instead of saying she spoke the truth, because she's saying, unless your great grandfathers discovered this place, unless you're claiming your European side. But if you're black, according to her, you can claim to be a native of this land.
because we don't remember reading about your people in the textbooks. That is what they're thinking in their heads. But Africans they'll have meltdowns. They'll sit there and be like, no, I'm Spanish. I'm in Spain. I'm Spanish. And it's like, whoa, I thought you were from Africa. What happened?
Ma'am, you obviously have not read American history books. So you have no idea what you're talking about. You know nothing about America. You're giggling, but you're the person that is embarrassing yourself, because you sound mighty stupid right now. You obviously haven't read American history books. You claim, oh, this is not what we read. No, you didn't read anything. Like, you didn't read anything about America. Because if you had read, you wouldn't be embarrassing yourself this way.
I thought you were, I'm sorry. I assumed that you had an African name, an African first and last name. You talk about how your family is back home. So I thought that you were African. But when someone from Spain sits there and says that you're not Spanish, even though you can speak the language, even though you went to college there, even though you went to school there, then you as an African, you want to get offended? What's really going on?
Uncle Jam, I'm not saying blacks don't pay taxes. They do. I mean, I'm not saying they don't. Just FYI.
Going on here? Isn't this an identity crisis?
People, yeah, she calls that identity crisis. So this is what I've been observing around, and this is not only her, and yeah, MC Cham, you're absolutely right. There's a difference between ethnicity and nationality, two different things. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is what, all along I've been observing. we don't need the KKK to march down the street to tell us and our children that they are not Americans. It's other Africans who are not even American. They don't live here. They are not American taxpayers. They don't understand the dynamics. But somehow they inserted themselves in American talks and calling Americans, referring to them that they are not American. It's very disrespectful. It's very, very disrespectful and rude. And like Malik is saying, and St. James, if that's the situation, hey, they best believe they can continue putting this nonsense out and they would be counted every single time. Because you don't see us talking about the UK or Canada because nothing there interests us. I mean, no disrespect to y'all, but I don't see anything interesting coming from those places for me to talk about. Maybe we live in the most interesting and fun country. If you want to talk about America, there's plenty to talk about. But when you want to base things on your feelings and just spewing whatever, telling people that they are not Americans because it doesn't fit your criteria, even calling people who are born here, who are not, telling them that they are not American. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And MC, welcome to the channel. Now, MC, if you got fun stuff about UK, we would want to hear it too. But I just don't think I will, speak on the UK because I don't know the dynamics there because I don't live there. I don't know how things are ran. I'm not gonna look at someone who's born in the UK. They tell me, "Oh, I'm British." If they say they're British, I understand what they mean. See, I don't even live in England, but my perception of a British person, it could be anybody. It could look like an Indian person because the world is mixed like that. Okay? The world is mixed like that. So she needs to wake up, and I want you guys to know from now on, it doesn't matter. People can represent themselves and say they're African. That doesn't give you the license, to speak on, suddenly us over here in the great USFA. That doesn't give you the right. For empowering ADOS to call that video honest, I know what you guys are thinking. I know exactly what you guys are thinking because that fits along the lines of what she thinks of, people that come to America. Oh, Austin AK said, yet you speak of Africa. Dude, I'm from Africa also. What are you talking about? I don't know what this guy. Oh, maybe Austin, you're one of the people that was maybe have issues with me saying some of these African countries need to be recolonized. And I don't need to be from those countries, or my Gambia being a tiny country. What's that have to do with, understanding what is going on? You might be in Africa somewhere because this is some type of African talk. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to be here for too long. This is like a prompt, broadcast. I did it while I found time, but I would definitely, be doing a full broadcast in the upcoming days, which I would drop the line, for people to call in. Stoic one said, UK is a confederation of countries, which England is. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that. So yeah, in the next upcoming days, I'll be bringing in, talking about some more interesting topics, because I have another video that I need to analyze, like, because people like to say, "Oh, Afridamus, you don't want to talk about, sex tourism, in Gambia," but I will, and I have a video that somebody sent to me. But those of you that ask me to, I highly doubt, you would like the video. I highly doubt it because of who you're going to see in this video. Let's see, like you say, you don't have to be in Africa. No, dude, I am from Africa. Do you understand the difference? These people are not from America. They don't live in America. Like, I don't speak on, let's say, South Africa. I've never been there. I'm not going to give myself license to speak on, I'm not going to give myself license to speak on South Africa just simply because I'm from Africa. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop it here. I hope to see you, sometime soon. Thank you. Enjoy.